So, the KB International, I was going to make a video of tearing it down and all that, but kind of boring if I made a video of tearing it down. I mean, the world is nuts and bolts, right, folks? And it was just nuts and bolts. So, and it literally took me like 2 hours to do it by myself. I did have one of my buddies help me out pulling the cab off. So, I mean, it was nothing special to take it apart. And you guys all saw what it looked like before. So, either way. So, it's down to the bare frame, which I am sitting on the back of the frame right now. And in back of me, right there, is the bed. In front of it, right there, is the nose. Right there is the subframe that I'm going to graft into the new frame. So this video just show that it is torn down, and that we'll go into a little bit of detail of what I'm going to do with the frame. But we are grafting a Nova front subframe into it, and that's they make all kinds of modern suspension for a Nova. So basically we're going to give this thing like a great drivability, way more modern. It should drive down the road like, you know, I wouldn't say a Cadillac because, you know, it's not a Cadillac, but it'll drive nice. And also with putting the Nova front subframe in it, the way I'm hoping it's going to work out is that basically when I drop my Chevy motor in it and my 4-speed Muncie transmission in it, it's literally just going to bolt up just like it does with a Nova. So kind of plug and play a little bit, but that depends how the measurements go and all that stuff. So right now I'll just give you kind of a walk around the frame and just kind of show you what my plans are, and maybe a couple other things. Like I did weld up the frame, excuse me, not the frame. I did weld up the cab a little bit. A couple of pinch welds were broke. I guess talking to my buddy Phil, all of them are like that. So the cab was kind of hanging lower than the cab floor, so it was making the doors shut like harder. So what I did was I just kind of braced it back the way it should have been and jacked it up and did whatever I had to do before I took the cab off. I did all that. I didn't go crazy, but I just tacked it up back where it should be, so the doors were opening and shutting the way they should. So the next thing we'll be doing is, like I said, we'll be building the frame, and after we build the frame, we'll throw the cab back on it, and we will make sure that everything is the way it should be, the doors are shut in the way they should, and all that stuff. So anyways, with no further ado, I will show you a little bit of what we're going to do with the frame. Alright, so there's the frame, and as what we're going to do to the back of the frame, I'm not exactly sure yet. I kind of need to see where it's sitting once I start putting it back together with some suspension. One thing I know is definitely the leaf springs. Those are coming out for sure. Going to put a parallel 4-link suspension kit in. I really want to do air ride. That's kind of my idea for now, is to do the air ride. So I'm going to stick with that. But most times when you do that, that little hump right there has to be raised up quite a bit more, kind of where my finger's going now. So again, that's for further on down the line when we see where it's sitting. So also right now, that's about 8 inches off the ground. The step is about 8 inches off the ground. I really want that to be my overall ride height. So when we're driving down the road, that's how high it's riding off the ground. And as you can see, there's absolutely no wheels, no tires. So we have a lot to accomplish with getting it to ride at that height. So I will show you on the Nova subframe how I think I will accomplish that in the front. Right here, that is the cab mount forward bolt for the cab to sit. And so what I'm going to do is the Nova front subframe clip that I'm putting on, we got to have center of axle, which is about right here, which I haven't marked yet, but before it's all cut up and everything I will. But either way, I've already measured from that bolt hole to there, and it's 26 inches. So what I need to do is make sure that the Nova front subframe is 26 inches from there to the center of that axle on the Nova front subframe. The truck frame is a straight piece of steel all the way from front to back, other than the little hump for the rear end. And if you can look at this subframe right here, it's straight, and then it curves way up. So that's going to make, when I weld my frame to the straight part down here, that's going to make it that much lower, because the higher you go with the frame, the lower the truck is going to sit. So making the front low is very simple. And making the back low is a little bit harder. Like I said, well, actually, I don't know if I said, but I'll show you what I mean about the back now. All right, here we are at the back of the frame. You see the little curve, which I did mention earlier. Basically, if you want that to sit, you want the truck to sit lower, you need the frame to go lower, right? But picture the axle actually being in place over here where it should be, going across. The lower you put that frame, the less travel the rear end's going to have. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to bottom out right against here on the frame. So that's where people do a notch in the frame and they raise it up. And when they raise it up, you have to obviously raise the floor and the bed as well. And of course, that's all for later on stuff. The biggest thing right now is to get the Nova front subframe on the front of this frame and then go from there.